Good morning. How's about you all in the YTPC? Mike Yo from Talon. Uh, from a it's been a lot cooler Talon and wetter Talon this last 10 days since I came back from Germany. Certainly the autumn is fully in now. Anyway, I know I make my videos too long, so I'm going to rattle on here as fast as I can before I get out to work. It's about 5:30 a.m. on the Friday, the 25th. Thank God it's Friday. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go, my usual. I've packed my tobaccos. Got my tissues ready, which you have to be if you're a Falcon smoker. I've got my stems and my tobacco. But we're not here about that. We're here to discuss really the HU tobaccos, which I want to talk about. I picked these up in Germany. I was there, as you know, from 10 days ago when I was there. I collected the HU tobacco range known as the Foundation by Musico. I chose that range within the HU tobaccos because it is described as their Balkan range. The one exception to that is the top one, which is from their United Passions range, where they had described as a Balkan flake, which was known as Flanagan. I decided to take that with me as well as a choice. The one on top, the blue one, it isn't actually a Balkan. It's in the Foundation by Musical range. This is unbelievably, it's for me, it is actually a bit of a topped with chocolate as well, something I usually don't go for. But it is a Berber, a Burley Perique blend. As people know who know me, I usually choose 5 or so tobaccos in each of my rotations per month. Usually 2 English, 2 Balkan, and AN other. That AN other could be anything. It could be a new Balkan or English. It could be a straight Burley, a straight Virginia, a Vapor, whatever I want to try. I usually have that separate. Try to be different from Balkan and English to keep my palate fresh. Anyway, I'm going to not rabbit on about that. I'm going to exclude in this review. The Flanagan is a flake. It is a Balkan without Latakia, but they're using dark fire Kentucky and Virginia. I think it's dark stove Virginia, which gives that earthiness as well with Oriental, and it works very well. Very straightforward, fine pickup tin of a Balkan style tobacco. I'm not going to say too much about that one now because I want to stick to the Foundation by Musical. I'm going to exclude this one because this is a non-English Balkan. To me, this is somebody who likes something different than a Vapor, but likes the Louisiana Perique and likes a bit of topping. There's chocolate in this. Actually, it disappears very quickly once you start smoking it. The chocolate, because there's Kentucky dark fired in here and dark Virginias, it's still quite earthy feel to it, which compensates for the lack of Latakia in it. But if you want something different, as a Burley Perique, I enjoyed it actually. I can't say I didn't. It was not something I'd smoke every day, although I'm trying to at the minute. But when I smoked it, I'm not a huge coffee person either. But when I do have a coffee, I actually enjoy this with it. Strangely. The Mahua, as it's known as. But it's an indication of the type of the blender that Hans Weidemann from HU Tobacco is. To me, he's taken traditional ideas, but fresh twists to it, and innovation. Hans has been wonderful since I've ordered my tobaccos. He's followed up and asked me how I feel about them. He's asked my opinions on them. He's very keen to understand that as a client what I think of them, which has been very refreshing to talk to a blender, not just a tobacconist. Very accessible, very good service, and I'll say now, actually a wonderful blender. Way under the radar. I've only known about HU tobaccos this last year. I kept avoiding trying it, this time in Germany because I have to take my tobacco into Estonia. I must carry it. he made it easy for me. He was in the area I was, went and collected my kilogram of tobacco, and took it back to Estonia. And just been. I'm just sorry I waited so long. Especially on the Balkan Englishes that I have. I can't say anything about the other ranges that he has, but if they're anyway as good and the care taken into the blends as he has with the Foundation by Musical range, then I think he's got something there for anybody who or any taste in tobacco. So anyway, getting to the next layer, I've sort of sorted these out in advance. The next two, and I'm only saying this, I wouldn't probably put them in my rotation again. Not for the reason that I dislike them. It's more because of the comparison of the bottom three. As I said, I usually like my 2 English, 2 Balkan, and something else. This time, and I would usually only introduce a new tobacco one at a time. It was going to take too long before I got tasting these tobaccos. So what I did is I took the full set, and I've been smoking them for the last 10 days to get an overview as a full rotation. Would there be enough differences in them to make a separate rotation? I would say yes, but I think I could add any of these bottom three at least into my rotation, not substituting any of my other 24 favourite tobaccos which are rotated regularly in sets, but a new set would be created from these, or them as themselves. If I take these two here, the Tigre and the Khoisan, the names are all African, hence you might have noticed from the intro music, it was the soundtrack from Out of Africa. Why are they all African names? Well, all his Burleys and Virginias are from Africa. Tanzania, Zimbabwe, seems to be the two main regions where he's taking, and Malawi Burleys is where he's getting his tobaccos from, outside of the Latakias and Orientals. In this range anyway. And I've been absolutely, can't say anything wrong with them at all. It's been absolutely great. I'm sure a lot of the blenders are using these tobaccos anyway. I know that in the McBarn ranges you often see 24 different leaf in a single tobacco, and I'm sure there's African in there as well. This is the first time I've seen African actually as a single Virginia or a single Burley used in blending. And I'm not a Virginia or Burley straight person, so I can't really compare for you what they're like. But in these blends, they've been wonderful. So the Tigre is basically, I would call it a medium all-day English smoke. They're in comparison with what? I would say in comparison with better than a squadron leader to me, better than certainly a Dunhill early morning pipe. But it's certainly got plenty. I'm just checking here exactly how it was blended. Described as medium strong. I would describe as medium on that side. It's got the Syrian Latakia. Again, I'm not sure. I think there's actually Cypriot Latakia in there. It seems a bit smokier to me, but not as much in it. I could be wrong. It might be the same. There's certainly the Oriental in there, a Basma Oriental, a range of mix, and he's using a Malawi Burley, which again gives that sweetness, and the sweetness I noticed at the front of my mouth when I smoked it on the lip. I guess take the sweetness, and you also get that little bit of nutty earthiness you get from some would say dusty. I like to think it's more nutty from the Burley. He's also got Zimbabwe. Probably this is probably why I dislike it. Sorry, I don't dislike it. I less prefer it than some of those I would describe. Is he's using Zimbabwe, probably Virginia's, and I think it might be a bright leaf in there, and it's a wee bit sweeter for me, for my taste. I am not saying anything wrong. It's described as that on the tin description. It's exactly what you get, and it's I would describe as an all-day smoke. Absolutely, if people like that sort of thing. I'm not. I like my heavier, full-flavoured most of the time. I don't go for a lighter or a stronger at any particular time. but as a description against the tin, it is perfect. Me not choosing these two in my rotation is just my personal preference. As a tobacco, and I must say all his tobaccos are very natural in this range. A bit like Solani would use. He said himself when I talked to him, he uses very little in the processing. So that's the Tigre, and all day I would say English. The Khoisan, Khoisan, what is Khoisan? I think some tribe, certainly it's South African tribe. Originally right back to the Hottentots, so that's hence the name, another African name. Again, he's using got the Latakia, and it's got the Louisiana Perique in this one, and with a fire cured Virginia from Tanzania, which on the darker gives it less sweetness, I think, I find, than what I was finding in the Tigre. But it's no Orientals in this one, which to me, I can't call it a Balkan, therefore. To me, it is a Latakia, Virginia, a Valad Perique. There's definitely the spiciness and the tanginess is coming from the Louisiana Perique, and it works, absolutely works. I had no problem smoking this well. I would call them two types of English rather than Balkan. The Khoisan, can you call it with the tanginess more like a Balkan? Either way, I don't think the Khoisan can be classed really as a full Balkan. I don't think it's really a full English either. Nothing wrong with having Perique, Virginia, and English. So probably more in the English genre or American Anglified version. Both were fine smokes. I had nothing wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing them at all. But that's what they're like. And what Frank this video was showing you. Here are my three picks. Turek was the true Balkan of the lot. It is a lot more of the flavours of Oriental grades in there. He's got the Virginia, he has the Latakia, and I think he's using both Latakias in this one because there's smoky and earthiness coming in there. And because there's that much more defined sharpness, he's using a lighter, not a bright leaf. He's described as orange Virginia in this one from Tanzania. I think similar to red Virginia, what you'd be more common with. It was certainly, because I would call it a truer Balkan because it was sharp. There was a sharpness in there that made it sing and sting, as I would say, a little bit. So I would say probably with the Perique, it helps to spice it up. The Orientals, you can certainly taste spiciness and aromatically. Plenty of Latakia and a red Virginia. Can't go wrong with that. To me, it was excellent. Fully enjoyed it, and any good Balkan lover should try it. Moving on to the Zulu. No need to describe what Zulu, and it's again the African. This has everything in it. This is using Latakia, says Syrian. Again, I'm not too sure because he did say he was having trouble getting the Syrian. I think it's Cyprian, but I think he's been very clever in the use of Kentucky, dark fired Kentucky, which gives that earthiness and peatiness, which reduces just the smokiness of the Cypriot Latakia, makes it feel like it's Syrian, and superbly blended to give that effect. He's using it again in this one, the Malawian Burley. It's a white Q cut, and again that had that sweetness at the very front of the mouth, which is you can definitely taste and have that sensation. And in this one he's using the Bulgarian Jebel Oriental, which from the Xantia family, which is probably more of the aromatic rather than the spicier of the Orientals, but wonderful mixture. You know, if you concentrated when you were smoking it, you could pick out each of the individual components. I just thought it was magnificently blended for all the things that are in there. Smokiness, touch of sweetness, tanginess of the Perique, the aroma. When I mean aroma of the Orientals, it is is an oriental aroma, not a flowery one. More like walking through the smell of a spice rack rather than the taste of spice, if you can get the difference I'm trying to say. I think the tanginess was more coming from the Perique. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Absolutely. Is it a Balkan? I would say yes, because of the complexity involved here, as I think Balkans are the most complex of the tobacco grades, genres. Wonderfully blended, masterfully blended, and I couldn't recommend that any more than I am now. And the third one I would recommend is that HU tobacco group, Fayum. Again, it's known as the Fayum art. It's from the north of Africa. You probably associate it with the type of religious early Christian art on wooden panels, like you'd see in probably a modern version of that is the Russian Orthodox. This is slightly before that, with that Greco-Roman art on wooden panels from the early Christians. And that's the area that Fayum is famous for, up in that Egypt, Ethiopia area. I'm not sure which it is actually, from the Coptic art. But anyway, that's only in the name for people who like that. The tobacco. Well, this comes in a ribbon, and all these are ribbon mixtures of ribbon and broken flake, but they are wonderful. I've been through them all. Very few twigs. Wonderfully soft tobacco. You just know there's nothing on it. Where you get sometimes you know when it's been topped or case, you can get that bit of goopy feel or a sticky feel to the tobacco. This is all very, very soft tobacco. You know it's more natural. Again, wonderfully cut. No twigs at all, as I say. The attention to detail, I think, is what you're paying for. A little bit, probably extra. Although I don't think it was any extra, to tell you the truth. But this is wonderful. The flavour, to me, this is your fuller English. Because amazingly, I'm still surprised by it. There was no Oriental in it, and yet I'm getting a full flavour here. And it's got the fire cured Virginia and the Kentucky in here again. Syrian, again, I'm not too sure if it's the Syrian or the Cypriot Latakia, but again with the Kentucky and the darker fired Virginia, it makes it feel peaty anyway, and softens that Latakia blow, which I don't mind, but it's still a full Latakia English, full flavoured English blend, I would call it. It's got then to help sweeten it with, again, I love sweetness, but it's got some black Cavendish, which probably makes it into more like a Scottish rather than English, if we follow the terminologies. Again, this was just superb. It's just a wonderful smoke. You know, everyone knows my favourite is, and in English, is Artisan Blend, which I think is better than the Nightcap. It's got the Syrian in there, and it's more flavoured. And I prefer the Black Mallory, Rattlers Black Mallory, to say my 965, because it's much more fuller hit there. I think we're in this here, squeezes in here nicely between the Black Mallory and the Artisan. Wonderful, fuller flavour, and easily would get into my rotation, and will do, these three. Or maybe all five, I would just buy as a full rotation for beer, because I have no problem with the other two. What I would say is this also comes in a cake, which was my first sample, was in a cake. You had no cake ready for me, so I had to take it in the ribbon. If anything, the cake gives that little bit more oomph, as it's probably been married slightly better together, being in the cake form. But don't diminish it really from the ribbon cut. So that is the three that certainly, excuse me, I would certainly recommend as wonderful, masterful, artisan, boutique blends by a wonderful blender, Hans Weidemann. To me, it's got to be in there with the Russell Ouellets and the Greg Peas. I thought for all my use of smoke, I thought this was as good a range as I've seen, and tasted it, and had nothing bad to say about any of them, between the cut, the quality, the natural, the blending, the slight nuances of using different types of tobacco, like burleys and things, and burleys and Balkans, dark fired to soften the, probably, I believe, the Cypriot Latakia, the use of many Orientals, and the use of Perique, where there's no Orientals, all just wonderfully, wonderfully done. So I can't say enough about it. I have nothing wrong against these two either. It's slightly lighter, it's just my taste. All the tobaccos worked as the tin said. So I can say no more than that. They were all perfectly tasted as advertised, as we'll say. My favourite would have been those three. So finally, somebody else asked me again about my follicles and my packing. So just quickly, because I'm getting ready to go to work, I filled most of my I have my 5 tobaccos ready. I've just got 2 to go actually. I haven't filled the big one yet, and this one. So I'm just going to show people how I fill my 5 quickly. See, I'll take the Fayum, which I have to load yet. Load all the rest. So I'm going to have it in the large hyper bowl. You fill your falcons. There are 2 stems here. They just stay apart, but you fill your falcons on the stem. You don't fill the bowl on its own. Again, you can be ruthless in the fill. There's no Frank's methods or 3 fills or Goldilocks methods. I just put it in and I just stuff it in. Not even enough for the rise of the tobacco on the light. My dog growling, if you hear that, watching me doing all this. I also have to get him outside yet before I go to work. So basically, that's that. I take my windy cap. It sits in top, so it doesn't. You unscrew the bottom, and you bounce them through. On the draw hole at the bottom, if you pack just a wee bit too tight, you don't want the tobacco coming down, you just give it a little push up. Job's done. That one fell off. That goes into the tobacco pouch. I do that with the last one on a different tobacco. I threw in a handful of cleaners. Dry pack. Use this side. Sits in inside pocket. Sits in any pocket. Falcon smokers always, Falcon smokers, he uses tissues to wipe the bowl in the humidome, not the bowl, the humidome. Any moisture comes, you simply screw off the bowl, you grab a tissue, wipe around that, bowl can go back on, and keep on smoking. Keeps it dry, no gurgle, no nothing, no good. So, I have my 5 bowls, I carry 2 stems. Stems will simply go into the pocket. Tamper, tissues, lighter, sit in the pocket. I have a Zippo on my belt. That's me ready for work and go home. I also, just in case, I always carry a 50-gram tin of the Artisan Blend in case I smoke more than the 5 bowls before I get back home. So that's it. I've kept this under 25 minutes. Again, far too long. Very sorry about that. I've got to go to work. I've got to get the dog out to work first before I go to work. Have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend, everybody. God bless. Be good. Be safe. Be well. Take care now. Bye from Talon.